over coffee. I am your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, and I am on my coffee break. And it looks like I'm having a little bit of a lag here on the video feed. That is unfortunate in the extreme. But let's have a slurp here. Oh my goodness, that is some good internet audio. And I do hope that you are enjoying yourselves to the fullest this day. We have a wonderful show here for you. A very interesting, colourful character is going to be joining us here in just a few moments. He says that he is a lawman and that we should respect his authority. But he is going to be, no doubt, making some interesting accusations about yours truly and the whole unfortunate affair with my very dear friend, Christopher Marlowe. But that being said, before we jump into that, I do hope you had a very good weekend and were able to watch last week and also the encore presentation over the weekend of my Julius Caesar Beware the Ides of March of the Penguins. To date, nearly 1,500 of you have watched it, and that just does my heart well. The cockles of my heart, the sub-cockles of my heart are warmed by all of you. And we have our next show up. The Indiegogo campaign has launched today, about 3.5 hours ago, and that is A Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time. That will be on Wednesday, June 3rd on Facebook and YouTube. And I do hope you join me and the social distancing players for that wonderful production. But without further ado, let us bring in today's guest, a lawman of some renown. May I bring in for you, Colt Derringer, Lawman. Well done,
good day, Mr. Shakespeare. Good day. Now listen up here. I got to tell you something because I heard you talking, and you sound like you just clumb into a hammock with a gender-fluid crocodile. You're a little nervous there, Mr. Shakespeare. So let's
Gender-fluid crocodile?
Yes, sir. Now, I know you're probably a little nervous because I know this Marlowe investigation has been weighing heavy on your mind. So let's just clear the air between us. We did our investigating, and you have been fully exonerated.
Oh!
So I would like to congratulate you on not being a murderer, Mr. Shakespeare.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Proud. I feel
Shakespeare,
better.
not a murderer. That is fantastic.
That's a proud moment in your life, I bet.
It really, it weirdly is. I mean,
I know.
Never before have I thought that, yes, I would be excited to say I am not a murderer, except, of characters. But there's that. So, you know what? We've even created a hashtag for this. Hashtag Shakespeare, not a murderer.
It's good. That's a good one. You tell the world, Mr. Shakespeare. Not only do you know, based on the fact that you did not do it, that you was not a murderer, but also on the investigations of the hard-earned tax dollars of the United States government.
Oh, well, that is fantastic, because I really felt that this entire investigation, where I kept getting subpoenaed to go to a country I don't live in.
That's true, actually. Yep.
And from my point of view, does not exist yet.
Yeah. Well, you never had to answer them because really there was no authority there.
No.
It's more of a hobby for me. Going back trying to solve, past crimes.
Oh my goodness gracious! I mean, so this will be like the ultimate in cold cases for you.
It's like an adjustable rate hysterectomy. It's the kind of thing that don't make a lot of sense, but some doctors enjoy it, and I do that. In between solving my cases that I'm actually brought on by the government to do, I like to look back and see if I can bring some justice to the dead and deceased.
Indeed. Well, you sound like a guy right now who has eaten half the berries and says that the pie shell is too big.
That is so true. That is so true. I'm like a nearsighted Eskimo trying to find his way through an Alabama cattle stampede.
Oh,
justice, Mr. Shakespeare.
Oh no, sir. That really salts my melon. Don't say that about you.
I believe it. You speak my language now, Mr. Shakespeare. I'll tell you what. I feel like you're one of the only ones that understand me in this world.
You know, I write for such interesting characters, such as Welshman, for instance. Captain Fluellen in King Henry V. That I have trained my ear to pick up and absorb and adjust to the interesting goings on that come out of the mother tongues of all of us.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes. So is the only announcement about the Marlowe investigation that I am not the murderer?
Yes.
Remember, hashtag Shakespeare not a murderer.
That's right. That's one of them little hash browns he put up there. You can see that.
Indeed. Yep. Right there.
Yeah, that's all we got. We was hard on your case, Mr. Shakespeare, but that's the only announcement I'm prepared to make with absolute certainty today.
Oh, all right. What other announcements with less than absolute certainty are you willing to make?
Well, I don't speculate on an ongoing investigation.
All right.
You know, I do like to sometimes throw some accusations at the wall and see what sticks.
All right. Yes.
Sometimes when I try to get you nervous, you know, like a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. When I start suggesting, I try to see how the suspects act when you put a little fire under their belly. And when you get them dancing around like a barefooted ballerina on a hot plate, that's when you sometimes get them to slip.
Oh, well, of course, that's what you want to do, because a louse will live on the head of any it lands on.
It will, Master Shakespeare. That's so true. It's going to take up residence. It's like a lazy woodchuck taking up residence in your drain pipe. Tells you he built the tunnel his own self. Anyhow. Ain't much funny about that. That happened to my Uncle Cletus, and it's not a good time.
No. I imagine it cannot be a good time in the time period that it is happening in. But I needs must say, we need to compile a literary collection of yours, the wit and witticisms of Colt Derringer Lawman. I think that would be a bestseller, possibly as like just a little quote book, maybe even a self-help guide.
Yep. Well, I mean, for me, Master Shakespeare, when I have a tasty cow pie on 2 slices of bread, my favorite condiment is justice. And so I spend most of my days working for Woodrow Wilson, bringing about the laws of the land and the Constitution. So I don't got a lot of time for that. So maybe if you want to do a collaboration, because you got the words, you can put the pretty words down, and you all know about getting the book out there to the public.
Oh, you know,
as a team.
I think this will be a very worthy endeavor. But let's talk about that, but also a few other projects that you and some of your identical twin brothers or cousins or relations, maybe just doppelgangers, are working on. But first, I must go and pay some bills. So we'll be right back with Colt Derringer Lawman here on Shakespeare's Coffee Break in just a few moments.
I'm going to grab the coffee.
Well, right. Yes, indeed. Now, friends, here on Shakespeare's Coffee Break, I'd like to remind you that we are brought to you by Hill Storage and Rigging Company. Hill Storage and Rigging. No job too large or too small. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing your equipment is in skilled and experienced hands with services from our machine movers and erectors in Middletown, Pennsylvania. Established in 1967, Hill Storage and Rigging Company is a family-owned and operated full-service millwright serving industries in the Mid-Atlantic states and beyond. We are a woman-owned small business. Hours of operation on Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Available Saturdays and Sundays by appointment only. Hill Storage and Rigging Company. Call us at 717-944-7676. That number again, 717-944-7676. And visit our website, hillrigging.com. Special thanks to Hill Storage and Rigging Company for being the sponsor here on Shakespeare's Coffee Break. If you would like to advertise, you can do so just emailing shakespeare@shakespeareapproves.com. Yes, so that email again is shakespeare@shakespeareapproves.com. I'll sell whatever you... Whatever you'd like. Just send me some money as well. But we're bringing Colt Derringer Lawman back into the conversation here, and Master Derringer.
Yeah. Yep.
I just have to wonder. Oh, weirdly, I just got feedback from going over to the Facebook feed. But just wondering, how long have you been a lawman?
Well, I spent the last half of last year, 1917, in Europe. I was in the army services in France.
Oh, very good.
So,
well, thank you for your service and liberating Europe.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's still happening. I'm hoping that we can bring resolution to that awful war soon. End it. It's going to be great too. When we get done, that's it. No more warfare. This one's going to end them all.
Do you believe so?
Yep.
It shall be a war to end all wars.
Yep. I do. So anyhow, when I come back, I use my service and I come in, and it started at the beginning of this year. That's when I had my first case. It was out in Lancaster County with the Amish Mafia. They was doing a lot of horrible things, untoward things out there, and I had to go in and wrestle up that thing, wrap it up. Some of it's still in litigation, so I don't like to talk much about it.
Sure, absolutely.
But it's very difficult now. I got to tell you what, Master Shakespeare, because we got this whole the Spanish flu. Now,
yes,
let's point some things out. I'm going to tell you a couple facts. My recommendation, I did some research. This flu actually did not come from Spain. And there is some people who is suffering. We have some Spanish type Americans here that have found they have suffered violence because of the name. Yes. So I think we should actually, do you know why it was called the Spanish flu?
We don't like Spaniards.
No. What happened was all the other countries in Europe that was involved in the war effort, they had locked down the spread of information, and Spain, which was neutral, they was the only ones talking openly about the fact that they had this virus running around.
Oh.
So that's why we called it that. See, it was a mistake. We don't know exactly where it come from, but to blame a country, viruses and diseases, they don't necessarily have a national preference. So my suggestion would be not to call it that. Anyhow,
that is fantastic.
I've been locked down in quarantine. I've been trying to wrap up a few cases, and I've actually learned that I am not very good anymore at solving a murder crime on my own.
Oh, really?
Usually
that is shocking to me. That is shocking, sir.
Yep. I call up a dinner party, and then I deputize the whole crowd, and we work on it together. So I'm going to have a virtual murder mystery coming up in the next month or so, because I got a case, and I'm going to need some help to solve it.
All right. And would people be able to find that information about that at facebook.com/Colt Derringer Lawman? Yep.
And also probably at the, I guess, njrenfair.com. They can find it too, because we'll be talking about there. But we're going to bring it together. I'm going to show them. It's basically going to be my expert/master class on how to solve a murder crime. And you can participate from the start of the evidence all the way through the interrogation.
So basically, you are so as you say, you are deputizing everyone in the dinner party to join you as lawmen and lawwomen, and basically, you're forming your own party comitatus.
Yep.
Excellent. Well,
it's like a suspension bridge over a 24-hour Amway convention. That's what he meant. People sometimes Mr. Shakespeare don't always talk straight, so I like to translate just a little bit.
How is it like a suspension bridge over a 24-hour Amway convention?
Because it's a convenient way to avoid the things that you don't want. Nobody wants to be down there in that crowd, especially during an outbreak of an influenza crisis. So if you had a suspension bridge over all these people who don't realize that the math don't add up on a pyramid scheme for everybody to make millions of dollars, you can like wander and mosey yourself over the top, and then you can avoid all the sales pitches.
Oh, Colt Derringer, don't put down a salt lick and say you ain't got cows. Come on.
I don't think I tried to do that, Master Shakespeare.
I mean, like right now, I feel like you're just digging a pond and hoping for ducks to arrive.
Well, I feel like you a pelican at a watermelon eating contest. You're going to maybe succeed, but it's ain't going to be pretty, I'll tell you that.
Oh, you know what they say. It takes a bushel of corn to feed one chicken.
That's true.
See, just science. Well, I'm very glad that you are bringing truth and light to the whole concept of Spanish flu and it not actually being originated from Spain, but they just simply being the most honest about it.
Yep.
And also that you are deputizing people to join your own posse. I'm sorry, your own 24-hour Amway convention, whatever.
See, now you putting words in the mouth. No, I said we're like the suspension bridge.
Oh, we are the suspension bridge.
The 24-hour Amway convention. We didn't want to go down there. I ain't associated with them.
All right.
I'm going to lead the people. We're going to lead the people across. It's like, here it is, and you're going to lead the people across. And then all the people down here, they're like, join our little pyramid scheme. Come on. You don't have to. You just go on your merry way, and you make it.
Oh my goodness. You are a genuine delight to have around. So,
Shakespeare, I feel that about you. Now that I know you're not a murderer, I feel that way about you too. I mean,
thank you.
Thing. I don't know what you did in your other time, but I don't have any evidence to suggest.
No.
I like to deal in the facts that I can state. All I can say for sure is that I am aware, based on the evidence, that you did not kill Kit Marlowe. Now, anybody else, I don't have any evidence to suggest that you have committed any other heinous murder crimes.
No heinous murder crimes. Oh goodness, you are like
you delight
the way you put emphasis on that, sir. What other heinous murder crimes do you believe that I may have been involved with?
Do you not listen to when I'm talking to you, Master Shakespeare?
Not so much. I too.
What I said was, I know you did not, based on the evidence, commit the heinous murder crime of Kit Marlowe. And I said, I do not have any evidence or idea to suggest that you have committed any other murder crimes.
Oh, yeah,
which is why I feel comfortable having this conversation with you, because I don't spend a lot of time with murderers or other types of criminals.
But wouldn't, if you were to spend time with murderers and other types of criminals, wouldn't that allow you to get deeper into their minds, to say, oh, I understand how you think. It is, you must needs first make the murderer and then catch the murderer.
You want me to make a murderer?
Well, no. Make yourself into the mindset of a murderer who commits, as you say, the heinous murder crime. And once you understand their motivation, then you can stop them in the act.
I see.
Stop it before it starts. Pre-crime prevention.
Got a question for you, Mr. Shakespeare. How many murder crimes have you solved in your day? Not in your little place, but in actual reality. How many do you think you solved yet?
Well, that is a difficult question.
It's pretty easy, I believe.
Strictly speaking, none.
Yep. So see,
strictly speaking, none.
This is like the people who were revolting against the mask for the Spanish flu. Who you quiet? I can't hear you, Shakespeare. You going? See, this is the eagle-eyed justice shutting you down in favor of a person who's actually solved a heinous murder. I don't attempt to tell you how to write a soliloquy, because I ain't never done nothing like that. See, like if you want to make a moonshine still, you should talk to my cousin Cletus, because he certainly has done that on many occasions. He's what we call an expert, and I don't know nothing about it, so I wouldn't try. But I have actually solved a murder crime, so. And I don't believe that you should try to get your mind into the mind of them. You got to figure out what their plans is.
Yes.
And a lot of times you can use the logical situation of the clues, and you make a box. You put a box around it, and you look at it, and then you stare at it for a long period of time until you start seeing the way that this little triangle over here fits in the peg over here in this corner. Don't forget the box now.
Yeah, all right.
Box, and you got shapes inside, and each shape represents an aspect of the murder.
All right. Well, what if though, like your clues are all like on a board, let's say, and you just attach string one to another, and you see how everything connects to each other and how it all becomes an interconnected web, a system, if you will.
Yep.
What about that approach?
That's a good approach.
Well, all right, very good.
That's a good one.
I'm glad to hear that. All right, see,
that's one thing. I do that sometimes. I usually have my little Peggy board up in my office, and like up here, I'll have like Ezekiel Stoltzfus, for example. If you use my famous mafia example I had, and then I saw that he was connected down here to this shipping man who was one of the accountants for the Peaky Blinders over in Birmingham, and then we saw the connection to the lady in Philadelphia. What was selling the illegal hooch? See, it's a whole web. You can do it that way. That's one way you can do it.
All right.
Good.
Very
Gold
good.
Star, William Shakespeare, Gold Star. I'm going to write down.
All right.
I'm going to put it down in my notes.
Oh, all right. Very good. Now, another question I have for you about solving your heinous murder crime is what other famous heinous murder crimes have you solved?
Well, they none of them that is too famous. I just started up, I had to do the things in the war. I did actually solve one time when we was in France. We had a fella come up. He was killed to death right there in the tent that we had. We was behind lines a couple miles back, and we had to solve it. It was Sergeant Philip Masticis, and he was the one what done it. And it turns out that he did not like that man who got killed had beat him in a poker match several weeks before, and he was a little lippy about it. He kept talking about how upset he was that he lost all that money. That was what got me in the idea that maybe I could, once I got done with the war, I could go into investigations of murder crimes, because I was the one able to solve it. My family never did. I'd like to correct a thing you said earlier. You said I think that people should listen to me because I'm a lawman. No. So listen to me because I have a badge, right? Lawman is just my family name. It's just a coincidence that is also the line of work I went into. My family, the Lawman.
Oh, that is
the Derringer Lawman.
Oh, so it shouldn't be Colt Derringer, Lawman. It should be Derringer hyphen Lawman. Or?
No, it's two different things. It's Colt Derringer Lawman is my family name. The Derringer Lawmans outside of Pittsburgh.
Oh,
yep.
Wait, you're from outside of Pittsburgh?
Yes, sir.
You sound nothing like a native of Pittsburgh area.
Actually, this is exactly what a native of Pittsburgh sounds like, sir, because I am one. Like if you want to know what a native Pittsburgher sounds like, then you can listen right now because you got one talking to you.
All right, very good.
Did we lose Shakespeare? I blew his mind. Anyhow, yep. My family, just to go back on what we was talking about before, I've had this confusion before. We are the Derringer Lawmans my family was raised outside of Pittsburgh, western Pennsylvania, way out west. It's the westest part of Pittsburgh, to tell you the truth. But the Derringer Lawmans, the Winchester Lawmans, we was actually, that's another branch of the family, see. The Remington Lawmans, they's from down south a little bit too. Anyhow, we was not actually in law enforcement. We was in, recently, we had gotten into the fine culinary arts, see, because in the heyday of the latter half of the 19th century, my family, our fate was intertwined with the noble passenger pigeon. See, Master Shakespeare, I was just telling about my family history a little bit because I think we lost you there for a second.
Yes. Weirdly enough, I got kicked out of my own stream.
That happens. See, now they didn't do that to me. You know why?
Because of the badge.
What I was saying is, Master Shakespeare, just a quick wrap up because you missed it. The Lawman family we're not actually in law enforcement. I'm the first. My family in recent times has been in the fine culinary arts. And before that, our fate was intimately attached to the noble passenger pigeon.
Yes, of course.
Because my family had what we call a passenger pigeon companion service for the elderly. So what happened was when you get old and your kids move out and you start feeling alone in your house.
Can't relate. Sorry.
Well, that's because you ain't there yet, Shakespeare. But what we would do, I'll be a self and no more. That was the name of the company. We would invest you up with a passenger pigeon that would supply the emotional needs that you was missing from the loss of your family members who have moved out and moved on. And that was a noble bird that could look at your soul. But of course, the passenger pigeon went extinct. And so that was the end of that.
Oh, well, that's very sad. In my era, we very much have them. What is on your mug? Let us see that right there.
The Lords of Adventure, and it says, "Whoa."
Oh, well, that would be some of your identical relatives.
I'm not related. There's no relation. In this time of my lockdown, I've been trying to enjoy some entertainment because usually I'm so busy with cases. But I saw them boys is funny. I'll tell you what.
They are very good. I'm very glad to hear that. And also, let us talk about a few of your other activities that you have going on. You have rather either you or someone who looks very similar to you has a gym. I
got that face. Yep. I heard about this too.
Yeah. Could you tell me a bit more about that?
Well, I don't know a lot about it because I usually do. I'm a strict up fisticuffs kind of situation.
But yes, the Marquis of Queensberry rules.
Blend of things. They call it like the ludus or something, which is some kind of wacky. That's some kind of Roman name I don't understand.
Yes.
But they go down there and apparently, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's in the remote situation where he's like, you do this, and then the people do the thing, and they listen to him, and apparently that's how they get in shape. They get a nice constitutional out of that situation. And they learn how to throw hands, apparently.
Very good. And if people want to learn more about that, they can go to, facebook.com/actionjkd. As
far as I understand. And that fella does. He's a good-looking fella. He looks like me, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Very good. Yes. Now, friends, we are running out of time here on Shakespeare's Coffee Break. But if you would like to support Colt Derringer Lawman and his various other people who look like him, but are absolutely no relation whatsoever, make sure that you go to njrenfair.com or visit Colt himself at facebook.com/Colt Derringer Lawman, facebook.com/actionjkd. And also, if you'd like to help, if you'd like to throw some money into his tip jar, because, performers and small businesses all over right now, we are, all of us, many hurting in many ways.
Even me, I'll tell you what, my branch of the Bureau has been shut down.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yep. In that case, friends, in order to help Colt's branch of the Bureau, please, if you have the disposable income, go to Venmo, ActionJKD, or PayPal, actionjkd@gmail.com. And always remember, #Shakespeare not a murderer. So
yeah, please do, because I'm real proud of you, Shakespeare. I know.
Thank you.
I know. I want to apologize because I know we've come off. See, one thing that you have the unique ability to do now is what it feels like to be under the glaring eye of Colt Derringer Lawman and the Bureau when you was a suspect in a murder investigation. I'm sure it ain't comfortable. No. I'm sure it's like getting on shore leave in Bangkok and discovering that you find a flagpole where the wishing well ought to be. That's not a comfortable situation at all. So I understand, but you're one of few people who can tell people what that situation is like. And I'm proud of you, Shakespeare.
Thank you. It is exactly that way. It is. And as you pointed out earlier, apparently I didn't need to respond to any of the summons because you're in America and I'm in Britain.
That's true. No, it was good. I was glad for your cooperation, though.
Across time and space.
It was good times.
Well, Colt, you are welcome back here anytime to talk about your heinous murder crimes that you are solving. And when you get closer to hosting your dinner party masterclasses, please do come on and talk about those, because we'd like to get people over to become investigators like yourself.
Yep. Deputize them right there in the thing. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to gather up the evidence.
Yes.
We're going to solve a murder crime. Yep. It revolves around the Cloud Haven Chateau.
The Cloud Haven Chateau.
Up in the mountains. One way in, one way out. So we know who the suspects was because they was the only ones up there when the murder happened.
Yes, very good. Yes, quite. Well, I like and appreciate this, and I do thank you for coming on. Big round of applause for Colt Derringer Lawman for joining us today.
And for you, Master Shakespeare, #Shakespeare not a murderer, hash browns and grits for everybody.
Yeah, well, there we go. Hash browns and grits for everyone.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, absolutely.
one thing I would like to say to people about the murder thing is like, you know how I said I have a hard time not solving the crime by myself anymore?
Yes.
I am really good at narrowing it down from the entire population of the earth until like the 5, 6 suspects that we know one of them done it.
That is a really good narrowing process.
And I'll tell you what, my advice, if you do go to one of these murder investigation mystery situations, don't try to figure out that the murderer is somebody who is not in the cast. Because I guarantee you, it is not one of those people. It is going to be one of them sitting in front of you. So you save yourself a lot of time and aggravation by narrowing your search down to one of the people that is in the cast, as we say.
That is great advice. I like that.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, Lords and ladies, Colt Derringer, Lawman.
I try to keep an even keel, and you got me smiling. That's good, though. I feel good.
Yeah. You are bringing joy to the masses, and I thank you for that.
I hope so. Because if you can put a murderer off the street, that's one way to help. That increases the level of joy.
Yes, one fewer murderer, exponential levels of joy go up.
Every murderer you take off the street, that's like at least one person who's going to have a better day in the future, you know.
At least 5. No, I'd say at least 5, because there are people to mourn that person. If they don't have to mourn them,
well, what if they're not? What if they're like my Uncle Cletus when he first gets out of rehab? Nobody wants to be around him. The only person who guarantees going to be happy when Cletus don't get murdered is Cletus.
All right, wait. So your family. All right, I was going to end the show, but now I have to.
Go ahead, Master Shakespeare.
If Cletus were murdered, none of you or your family would be upset.
Well, it depends on the day and time. There's certain days where it could have been any one of us, to tell you the truth. So Cletus, he's got some. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Everybody understands it out there. Everybody's got that cousin or uncle or something. And when he shows up at the party, you're like, who told Cletus about? Oh, come on. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm
I do.
That's what the difference is between you and I, Shakespeare, and whoever that fellow was that killed Marlowe. It was
mostly him. He slipped on it. He slipped and stabbed himself in the eye.
You and I are able to keep the knife in the sheath. No matter how angry we get, that's being a civilized non-murderer.
There you have it. Be a civilized non-murderer.
Hash browns, Shakespeare didn't kill nobody.
There we go. All right. And friends, if you want to see more of Colt Derringer Lawman or people that look just like him, every Sunday, every Sunday, you can join Roger Awesome, a Lord of Adventure, who helped supply that mug that Colt Derringer Lawman was drinking out of, and myself, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, every Sunday for Nat 21 Adventures, because the only thing better than a natural 20 is a Nat 21. It's a Dungeons & Dragons game with some of your favorite performers from the Renaissance Fair, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday. We've been going for 4 episodes now. I'm taking episode 5 off to spend some time with family. I'll be back for episode 6. I believe that Baron Sir Pistachio is going to be making an appearance.
I got to tell you what, I'm a fan of that squirrel.
He is amazing.
He's no passenger pigeon, but he's a good little fellow, I'll tell you what.
He really is. And friends, of course, Shakespeare's Coffee Break is here Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, right here on Facebook and YouTube. And then, of course, coming up on Thursday, we're going to be having Talking Track, where someone who looks very similar to me, but speaks with an American accent, will be hanging out with Brian as they talk some Trek. Let's talk about all the news of the Star Trek universe. Coming up on June 3rd, Wednesday, June 3rd, A Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time. It's the latest event show from the Social Distancing Players and your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. Join professional actors and patrons who are paying to be there from the Renaissance Fair world as we perform an adaptation meant for Zoom and Facebook of my Renaissance Fair show, Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time. You can go to the Indiegogo campaign to help pay the actors for their time and brilliance. So, Colt, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
my friend.
Shakespeare.
I will
Everybody
see
out there,
you
mind your P's and Q's, because Colt Derringer Lawman is watching you.
Make sure he's watching you, and it's a little bit creepy.
It is.
Now, friends, this has been Shakespeare's Coffee Break. I am your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare. Let's have another final slurp before we go. Oh, that is some good stuff. Friends, if you would like to support the show, you can buy me a cup of coffee at ko-fi.com/Shakespeare. That's ko-fi.com/Shakespeare. And over there, I can also be commissioned to write an original sonnet for you. Personalize it to your heart's content. Also, if you want to become a recurring supporter of the show, become my patron on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Shakespeare. And remember, you can start contributing to A Midsummer Night's Dream, A Gay Old Time, which will be happening on June 3rd. Shakespeare's Coffee Break will be back tomorrow and Wednesday, Talking Trek on Thursday, and then Shakespeare's Shameless Self-Promotion Happy Hour on Friday. There's so much going on. And then tonight, your friendly neighborhood Shakespeare, I will be taking part in the Baskervilles Project put on by the Zenith Players. So come back right here to Facebook and YouTube, and also go over to the Zenith Players Facebook and YouTube page for The Hounds of the Baskervilles, chapters 7 and 8. It's a weekly series put on by the Zenith Players, and I am playing Jack Stapleton. So it shall be a very good time. Hopefully this facial hair reconfiguration, which is something I used to do a few years ago, will work for tonight. Otherwise, who knows what I'm going to do. But thanks very much for joining me. I hope that this show is serving as a little bit of an anchor to normalcy, whatever normal means for you in this new normal that we are all experiencing together. And that it is a moment of levity and joy in your life right now. And as long as we all need to be doing this, as exercising physical distancing while we try to re-engage with each other socially, remember to be kind to each other. Remember to have a conversation with each other. And also, don't be a murderer, and, as Colt Derringer would want you to be. One less murderer means at least one more happier person. So don't be a murderer. Hashtag Shakespeare's not a murderer. But friends, thanks very much for joining me. I love you, you love me. There's mutual glorious affection. And I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, and bye-bye.